Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. My name is Anand Padmanabhan, and I'm a research associate professor in the Department of Geography and GI Science at the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign. And for iGuide, which is the Institute for Geospatial Understanding through an Integrated Discovery Environment, I serve as a managing director as well as the co-lead for our cyber infrastructure team. So today we will be presenting about what we have done with what we call the iGuide platform. We'll present some of the basics of the platform, and I have my colleagues here as well. Rajesh Kalyanam from Purdue is also part of our CI team. So between the two of us, if there are questions, we could answer. But this is going to be an informal session, so just feel free to interrupt me at any time. We will do a little bit of hands-on. I have a little bit of slides, like few slide deck as part of the presentation, which I'll cover. But again, feel free to interrupt me at any time. This is supposed to be an interactive session. If there are problems, we will do a hands-on part of it, going through the platform and trying it out. Okay, so let me see if I can share my screen. Hopefully you guys can see my screen. Okay. If not, holler. So good, thank you. See a thumbs up. So yeah, so again, as I said, I'll be talking about the basics of the iGuide platform, and again, feel free to interrupt me whenever you have any questions. So what exactly is the platform, and what exactly is iGuide? So the team, we have the cyber infrastructure services capability and services team, and all the iGuide team members essentially are part of this thing, which the project is creating. The iGuide platform is for iGuide team members, by iGuide team members, and for the community that we represent. So what is iGuide? iGuide is, as I said, is the Institute for Geospatial Understanding through an Integrative Discovery Environment. And the platform basically is serving as this integrative discovery environment. So it is kind of somewhere where you can share your research, share your data, do your analysis, and those kinds of things. So iGuide itself is a collaboration with multiple institutions. So we have 12 institutions all listed on the slides. I'll not go over them one by one. And it has multiple domains that we are covering. So most of you might see yourselves in one of these domains, but if not, it doesn't mean this is an exclusive and a complete list. This basically represents many of our iGuide team members. And we always have people joining in through collaborations, through various activities that we conduct, like this VCO community facing activity, like our the Geospatial AI challenge that we are running, like our forum, the iGuide forum that we run. So there are many opportunities for engagement, and so we basically go to many disciplines, and the idea of this platform is to bridge the digital divide. So the mission and vision of iGuide, just to give us a background of what iGuide is doing, is to enable digital discovery and innovation through harnessing the geospatial data revolution. And our mission is to advance convergence and geospatial sciences for holistic sustainability solutions. So basically a broad mission and vision associated with geospatial data, processing geospatial data, harnessing the geospatial data, and the computation that go along with it. And the iGuide platform serves as basically the connection environment to make this happen. So we have these data communities, knowledge, educational resources, partners, and we have these various science domain. So the iGuide platform is basically connecting what we call knowledge elements, which basically are like You could have data sets, you could have notebooks, computational notebooks, you could have code, you could have publications, all those things that we need to share our research broadly, and also the environment for you to do the analysis on. So this is from our original vision of when we thought about iGuide, is to have this iGuide platform serve as this missing middle, meaning it provides access to various science publications, as well as it connects to the national cyber infrastructure environment and provides like opportunities for education, workforce development, training, and other activities, just like we are doing through this VCO, like sharing what we did and allowing other people to partake in the iGuide platform. So I mentioned iGuide platform multiple times. So where can you find it? If you have not already logged in, you can find the platform at platform.i-guide.io. If you go to i-guide.io, that's our project website. And if you go to platform.i-guide.io, you will come to this platform page. I'll have a short demo and then we might do a little bit of hands-on. But again, feel free to interrupt me if you have any questions. So our principles for having this platform is this is supposed to be simple, smooth, scalable, searchable. That means you can easily find what you're looking for. It can scale in terms of computation and resources, and it is easy to use and operate. So hopefully you don't, after this VCO, you'll be, okay, I can easily use this platform. I can share this research. I can develop my code here as needed. So one of the key concepts that we had here while designing this platform was the concept of having this connected knowledge base or a knowledge network. So people have publications. Publications might use data sets, but multiple publications might use the same data set. There are like notebooks or other elements which will share like the knowledge from this data set. How was that computation done? Was there a knowledge created? Like, was there an educational material created out of it? So all these things are essentially linked together. So they are related to each other. And this relation itself is quite interesting, not just the element itself. So if you, for example, if you go and find a paper, okay, so I want to find the code. Maybe there is a reference in there somewhere which says, oh, the code is available here, or they might not have it, or there is like a data sets and it might be at a different place. So you have to go to various different places to find these nuggets of knowledge associated with any publication or any knowledge elements that we have. So with this platform, what we are doing is we are putting all these things together. So we could make intelligent searches. We could make recommendations. We could see like your connected knowledge networks that you have contributed to, and you are able to find and discover things that you might otherwise not have been able to. So taking a simple example of a publication, if we want to take that publication and go ahead and say how if the author puts the data sets associated with that publication, as well as maybe how he did his analysis, maybe an example of that through a notebook is shared through a notebook. All these could be connected and you can find all this within the platform. So what are the major components? I've talked about some of these. We have the knowledge elements, which essentially are, I would say, nuggets of knowledge that or complete atomic elements of knowledge that can be shared. This could be publications, code bases, data sets, computational notebooks, and so on. And we have a set right now, but those could be added, and maps as well. So that's something we have been working on. So together we get this knowledge base, and we have like the search engine capabilities which have been developed on the platform, as well as certain many user-centric capabilities that we have focused our development on in the past couple of months in order to to make interface improvement, management of users' contributions, and their environment as well, the profiles and stuff like that. We also have this Jupyter environment. Um, this is the iGuide platform's Jupyter environment, which can run notebook. The great thing about this environment that we have built is like it has installed many of the geospatial packages that you might need for your research. And the other cool thing is we have been doing research on this platform or the Jupyter environment, and we know how to make these kinds of. If you know the Jupyter environment, you might know the concept of kernels. Basically, these are like Python execution environments. You can think about them. So typically, what has happened is like whenever you go to an environment, you run something, you come back in say 15 days and things have already changed because someone installed a new package or whatever, so on and so forth. So what we have done with this is like we have like what's called version kernels. So you could save your notebook in a versioned kind of environment for this uh, against a particular version of a kernel, and then that would be saved. And so like anyone coming like say in 6 months time, in a year's time, might still will still be able to run the same notebook the way you were able to do. We also provide access to HPC, which is the high performance computing environment, through what we call CyberGS Compute. Now, in today's VCO, we are going to be mainly talking about our user environment, which basically covers the first four things. In future kind of VCOs, we would cover a little bit more on the Jupyter environment. How do you run notebooks? How do you create notebooks? And those kinds of things, as well as access to HPC, like how do you access HPC through CyberGS Compute on like say the Jupyter environment. So you can go to the Jupyter environment, run models, and that can connect to the national CI environment like NSF Anvil that's in Purdue, or the resources we have at Illinois. So all those things we will discuss in future things. So um, so convergence, knowledge sharing, and discovery. So this kind of is where we will be focusing our energy today on. Like, how do you find various things? How do you discover elements on the iGuide platform? How do you make connections? How do you discover relationship? Making your knowledge elements accessible so that, like, for example, notebooks could be run on the environment. Educational materials might connect to a body of knowledge, and so on and so forth. Um, I will not go about into detail about this, but if any of you are interested in kind of the technical aspect of how we did this, here's kind of a background environment of what we did, the technologies we use. Basically, we are using Neo4j, our graph database, OpenSearch to do the searching, and CI logon for login, which we will discuss shortly, and then Node.js and for the front end and back end servers and stuff like that. So this is kind of the maybe a little bit more technical picture of what you will see in the environment. But if you don't understand this, no worries. But if any of you have questions or want to know more about this, we'll be happy to talk to you also. We have ability. We are working on this to get data on demand. So for example, you could register data from various places within the platform. So for example, HydroShare is for hydrological environment. There might be data directly in HydroShare. You could, once you add it to the platform will generate code for you, which says, okay, this is the Python code you could directly run in the platform. Similarly, if you have something, if you have a direct data set for which we have a link or something, then it will create kind of code. So basically helping it to make more actionable. So this is kind of our workflow that you can think about in terms of the iGuide platform. Again, I talked about CyberGS Compute. We have the GeoEDF as well as the service. So these are kind of a little bit more on the back end from the Jupyter environment, which we will not talk about much today. So that was kind of main idea of the presentations. Now we'll do a quick demo as well as for this part, I would say let's make it more of a hands-on rather than just a demo, so that you can follow along with your data sets, with your publications, and see and see if you have any questions or if you run into any problems, and so on and so forth. Okay. So let me click. I clicked on the link. I get to platform.iguide.io. So this is kind of the front page of the platform. You can see the about page. If you click on this will go to platform homepage. The about page will give you something about how to get started on the platform. These are some simple things that simple kind of tutorials, things that for you. And we have a list of FAQs of frequently asked questions. We are also in the process of developing some videos, and we will have those in this soon. So if you go to our home page, you can see what you can do. You have various elements, maps, data sets, notebooks, publications, and educational resources at this point. You can search. Let's say if I search CSIBTS, and I can get various results, and each of these results will be tagged with what they are, like if it's a notebook, if it is a map, and you can go and explore. So that's kind of the simple search you will do. But let's start with say logging in. So I'll log out. This is a part I would want you to follow along with me. If you have not used the environment before, this would be a good thing for us to get started. So when you log in, you will get to this page, which is the CI logon page, which is essentially allowing us to use your credentials from your identity provider. Most of the universities, public universities in the US and around the world are part of this. Like you can have others like Orchid or Access Exceed. So since I'm at Urbana-Champaign, I'll select this and I'll just log in. Since I logged in before, it didn't ask me for my credentials. That's cached. But for you, say if you're logging first time, it might ask you. So let me pause here for a second and see if there are questions, if people have trouble logging in, or anything. Everyone in the call is able to log in. That would be kind of our goal. If not, let us know. We'll be able to help you. Is everyone able to log into the platform? Any issues? Thumbs up. That's good.
Hey, Anand, this is Micah Brockman from the OGC. I'm still working on getting logged in here. I'm not quite sure because I'm not at one of the institutions. It seems like the best way would probably be through my Orchid ID to do it. Is that right?
Yeah, that would be one of the ways to do it. There might be others. Remind me, Rajesh, does Orchid automatically gets approved?
Yeah, I think it should get approved. I think the one thing might be it will look for your email address. So you might want to make your email address publicly accessible in your Orchid profile. I think by default it's turned to private. So that might be, if you do run into issues, I would say try changing your email to be publicly visible, and then that should work.
Okay, sounds good. I will try that then and see if I can get that working for me.
Yep. And Michael, let us know if you still run into issues. Okay.
Yep, will do. Thanks for that.
Okay. I'll wait for a minute here. Pause here. Just before we move on. Okay. While we are trying to log in, I'll talk a little bit about what we have here. So once you log in, you might probably get your profile page. It might ask you to update your profile page if this was the first time you're logging in, and you can edit it anytime. It pulls some of these information directly from the service provider like Orchid or your institution. You can upload a profile picture, you can give the GitHub, Google Scholar links, and you can create a small bio for yourself. So that's what you could do. You could then update your profile and then go back to your profile page. The other thing you would see in your profile page is public, private, and bookmarks. Initially, this would be completely empty. And I'll talk about this in a minute. So the first thing near edit you would also see is elements, new elements. So if you click on that, you will see new data set, new notebooks, and new publications. Most of you will not see new educational resources and map at this point. And that's coming up in the future. But let's say I want to add a publication. And I would want most of you to follow along here if you can. You add a publication, you can make it either private or public. And this is true for any of the elements. So private means that this element is only visible to you and it will not be displayed on the homepage. So if you're working on something and you wanted to put it on the platform just to try it out and you want to just use it for yourself, this might be a good way to do it. And once you're ready, you just toggle the private to public and it will be made accessible publicly. So for publications in particular, you have a URL that could be directly added. Let's say I have the URL. So if this element I already added, so it will tell me that this is already added and I can see it on the platform. So if I open it in a different tab, I can see that element. This was contributed by Nathan, and this is how the element looks like. So again, so any data set or your publications you can contribute, and then if you say autofill metadata, it will go ahead and grab all the metadata it can from the publication. It would ask you to upload a thumbnail, and if there is credits, you need to provide. And in addition, we have some optional information associated with spatial metadata and other things, as well as licenses that you could associate with it, and funding agency information that you could add. Many of these are optional. And most of the required information gets filled out other than just the thumbnail. So if you just provide a DOI and just say autofill metadata for 95% of the cases or more, it will just grab the metadata from Crossref or other sources and populate it. Once you are done filling this in to the best of your abilities, you just submit. Okay. The other thing I guess you could do when you are adding a data set is you could connect it to an existing data set. So for example, if this data set is connected to a notebook, I'm just making it up. I'll say it will populate, and as I start like say typing, it will give me a list. Let's say this is what it is. It might not be. I can just make that connection. And then this is kind of the two-way connection that gets established. And this is what allows us to build that knowledge network. So, and it's such an easy way to do it. Like you have a publication, you can say, hey, this publication is related to other publications that and it automatically easily allows you to make that connection. Now, you might say, oh, I'm just adding this publication. I've not added the data sets and the things associated with this publication. That's okay. Like, okay, first add the publication. Then when you add the data set, you can associate it with this publication. And then that kind of connection is made on both sides. Like you can say this connection, this data set is associated with this publications, and this publication is associated with that data set. So that bidirectional connection is automatically made for you. And once you save it, and you go to this, for example, this notebook that was contributed, you will see the author information, you will see the DOI information that was used, any tags the submitter added, you will see who submitted it, In this case, Nathan, student here, submitted it, and you can see the related elements. In this case, it has a related notebook, and you can see this is the element, and it has this related notebook. And when you go, you can go to that notebook, you can explore that notebook. As well as from that notebook, you can also see other related elements with that notebook. So this way you can explore the graph of this, and you can cite for each of these elements. There is the way to cite that element on the platform. Yes, Sean, I see you have a question.
Yes, thank you. So I am attempting to troubleshoot what I suspect is a minor issue. My profile is not displaying for me. I merely get a blank screen. And also attempts to update my profile and just put in, let's just say, basic information.
Mm-hmm.
It's not being accepted either. It's almost as if it times out after a matter of a minute or two.
Interesting.
Yes,
Uh,
Sean, I got exactly the same issue. So just want to echo.
Okay. That's weird. Let me see if I can just try and edit something and I get the issue that might be. Let me add my GitHub profile. Okay, so this is something I'll have to look at, since I added my GitHub profile that showed up. So Sean and who else had this issue?
It's
I
in
also have
Anand.
this issue. When I try to update my profile and it just keeps sending, it's
Okay.
always sending. And when I refresh the web page, and then it becomes empty.
Okay. So if multiple of you are having the issue, we'll have to look at it. That is okay. We will take that and we'll look at it. I'm not sure what that issue particularly is. If I don't think we have the developer of the UI on the call here, so but I'll take that to them and see what that might be, some UI issue which or a bug that popped up.
So Anand, would it be easier if I share my screen? You can take a look at
Sure.
the issue, and
Sure.
then okay, yeah, I'll do it now.
Yes. Let me give you sharing capability. Yeah, you should be able to share.
Okay. Yeah, so this is what I get after logged in.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's empty, and so I can log out and then click login again.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is all I
Um,
get. It's empty here, and I tried to update my profile. So I already filled in all the information, but as we can see here, they are
Yeah,
still empty.
Yeah, it should automatically have picked the information on the top from your login. I'm not sure why it did not get picked. So there might be some issue either with the front end or the back end. So we'll
Okay.
open a ticket on this and we'll get to the bottom of it. But thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah. Sure. Okay, so multiple people are having this issue. So it might be like people who just created the account, they might have certain issues, I guess. But I'll raise this with our team and we'll share. Yeah. But I guess Sean and Injay and others, once so you don't see anything other than these two, right? So that's the issue. So you will not be able to add any new contribution at this point. So for some reason, I think it might like I'm guessing here. I think it might be thinking that you did all of you come with ORCID or did you use your university credential? Let me ask you that.
I used my university credential. Yeah,
Okay.
and I think it might be related to some like
Yeah.
maybe like a user privilege issue.
Yeah, it is. I think it is a user privilege issue. So for some reason it might be. So for people who might who are not coming from a trusted source, we usually give them like the profile page should be there, but we don't allow them to add other things. But there might be a bug which might have cropped in. But thank you. I think we'll resolve this soon and we'll let you.
Yeah, Anand, just I guess for your, I was able to reproduce it as well, and I mentioned it to Nathan in Slack, so he might be taking a look.
Okay, great. Thank you, Rajesh. Yeah. But anyway, I guess so you might not be able to do this, but after this, I'll send an email to all of you for all those who have registered for this and who have attended this when this is fixed, and so you can try. Let's see. So yeah, when I was saying that, okay, you could do publications. Similarly, you could submit a new data set. Data set will need a title and where the data set is, and it has some information about the data set, and where I can find the data set and the direct download link. So once you can do this, so let's focus this maybe the hands-on part on things that are already there on the platform. So if you go to data sets or notebooks, and we can find something. Here we have David Huberton, who has contributed the Great Salt Lake data set. You can find like that information about how to download this, what kind of on the platform or the Python code that you might use to get to that notebook, and a direct download link and a link to the data source that we can go and find that data set. So this data set is part of HydroShare, so you can see all those information coming from HydroShare, which gets cataloged here. Ideally, we will have this linked with another notebooks or things like that. Let me see if I can find one here. This is the IFSAR processing data set. This is contributed by Nathan here. You can see the notebook. You can see the data set that was used. And you can see this might be the publication and information that was used. Another notebook. So you have the another notebook. You have data sets, and you have a publication. So different color coded things. So this code is for publication data set, this particular element. This is another notebook that is connected to this. And what you could do here, this would be good, is to have this notebook run. So when you click run, it actually takes us to the Jupyter environment of iGuide. So jupyter.iguide.illinois.edu, and then it will open this notebook along with all the associated things that the author added. So if you are a contributor, and you have a notebook in GitHub or some other places, we can just put a link to that. So I'll show you how to contribute a notebook as well. So this is related. So you can do this. So you will provide us with two links here. One is, or I guess you will provide us with that one link of the URL of the GitHub URL where the notebook resides, and then it will get that directory downloaded for you. Here, so this is using the same notebook which Nathan saved it. He used the GeoAI kernel that we have, since this was related to his AI processing, and you can see his entire information here, and you can run this. So that's the important thing, is that you can run any of this thing, and if there are codes to be installed, he has that as well. So you could run this, and you could explore on your own. Let's see. We also have maps and educational elements. So this is largely flood maps, which have been contributed by Alex, is another PhD student here. And these are all coming from FEMA. You could get the Panable maps as well as kind of where that came from. So the details about it. So that whole link is there about that map. Lastly, we have the educational elements. So many of our, you might have heard about our convergence curriculum. Convergence curriculum things have been added to the platform. So if you can go to some of these, so for example, I would say ethics. So you have that 3 sentences, 3 slide version of it, and the associated maybe a 3-hour modules. For that. Similarly, for other educational resources, this was added by our colleague Nick from Michigan State, and he's adding something about meta coupling. So he added like this knowledge element. He put together everything associated with it and shared it. And then you can find all the related knowledge elements, the publications that were referenced here. So this kind of, you can make an article, for example, for a class, you could just say, okay, I want to make a page, and you have all the references and things like that that could be added, and you could link to them. You could also add related, like say, for example, there is a concept that you want your students to learn, and you can do that. You can add like a notebook link there. Any questions you have? So I'll say just go ahead and start exploring it. We will look at that particular issue that was had, that you guys were having. I hope you were able to open the Jupyter platform and the notebooks on the platform, and that you should be able to play with that as well. And in another VCO, we'll go a little bit more detail about creating like a notebook on the platform and all those kinds of things. Here we just talked about exploring things which is already there. The other thing you could see is, for example, if I hit connect, you can see kind of all the knowledge elements that are there in the platform. This is something our team worked on. So you could find like connected resources, connected groups of people, and then there might be some missing connections. So you can find, like, you can use this graph to navigate and find kind of certain knowledge elements. Okay. Think in terms of demo, that's all I have. I guess I might have, I don't know if I have a few more slides to wrap this up. Yeah. So yeah, I already mentioned this. So yeah, so in the next few VCOs for the platform, we will discuss about how to create the Jupyter notebooks and how to scale using iGuide platform and the CyberGIS compute. That would be upcoming in the few things in the next couple of months as well. So any questions, comments, thoughts? I'll stop sharing the screen so I can see all of you. Okay. Yeah, Sean.
Yes, I believe you mentioned this earlier to kick off today's session. but is it fair to state that these VOCs may be offered monthly?
Yeah, like monthly or VCOs for the platform would be offered roughly like monthly, but maybe 3 weeks or so as well. But there might be other VCOs which are offered like a weekly or a bi-weekly basis. Typically weekly, but sometimes bi-weekly. And they cover various topics, not just the platform. So we might have one with spatial AI. We have others which discuss like other topics, like the convergence curriculum as well.
Okay. Okay. Well, perfect. Well, this was very informative. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. Any other questions? If not, we'll wrap up today's VCO, and I'll follow up with all of you reported problems later, and see if once we get that bug resolved.
Just very quickly, Anna, thank you for doing this as part of our VCO. The VCO is completely open also for addressing topics that are of interest to the broader community. If you have any topics that you think you want to learn more from the iGuide Center, please feel free to reach out. We'd be happy to learn how what we do here could support your endeavors, and the iGuide in general. The mission we have is to harnessing the geospatial data revolution to address a broad array of sustainability challenges. So there's both scientific side as well as technical innovation side. What Anand has shared today is more on the technical side capability that is broadly accessible by the community. And if you think of anything that would fit into what we do, and we could provide support and explore collaborative opportunities, let us know.
Yeah, that's a very good point, Sean. Thank you. Any other comments or questions?
Anand, this recording will be available, right?
Yes, this would be available online by hopefully by tomorrow.
Thank you. And there's a link to a webpage that lists the VCOs conducted in the past, and also for
Yes.
those, I think the question came from Sean earlier, going to the future. There's also a plan for the topics of the future VCOs.
Yeah,
So I would
I'll
say,
put the link here in the chat, which has kind of the things about all our past VCOs, and more to be added about future VCOs upcoming.
yeah, so it's a great question about
Yeah.
what we will do in the future.
Okay. Okay, if no other comments or questions, we will wrap up this VCO session, and we will see you in the next VCO, in the upcoming VCO in the next couple of weeks. Thank you all for attending.
Thanks, Anand.